Someone asked me to do a video again on making the protein sparing modified fasting bread. They wanted to know exactly how to make the bread because it has become so popular on YouTube and everywhere. This bread was first made by, where I first saw it was with Maria Emmerich on her channel. And you can find the recipe that I'm using at mariamindbodyhealth.com, and just put in recipe and you want to Google Protein Wonder bread. Now this is a very easy recipe to use, and it is flourless. As you see, what you're going to start with is 12 eggs, and you want 12 egg whites. I found that the easiest way to separate the egg whites was to do it by hand. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm separating my egg whites, and I'm going to take 12 egg whites and I'm going to put my 12 yolks up. I'm going to use my yolks to make some muffins and some protein sparing ice cream, or maybe even some lemon custard or lemon curd. But this is what I'm going to use my egg yolks for. Now I'm going to finish getting my egg whites here. Got a little bit of shell in there I had to get out. And this is the first time that I have separated eggs in this way with my hands, but I found it to be very, very easy. So it's probably something that I'm going to do again in the future. You know, use this particular way to separate my egg whites. And you should try it. It's very, very easy. Now I have my ingredients out already, what I'm going to be using in my recipe to make the bread. And I guess I'll just go over those ingredients with you so that you can know what to use. So my egg yolks, I'm getting ready to go ahead and put these up and put those away in the refrigerator. And again, that was 12 egg whites separated from the whole eggs. And these are my silicone pans. I really do love cooking with these. It's so easy to take the bread out of the pan, and I have no problem with it tearing or sticking or anything like that. Now I'm going to be using avocado spray in the pan. So here are my egg whites, and I prefer to use the real egg whites instead of the egg whites that are in the carton, because they really do fluff up better and they form stiffer peaks. So I'm going to go ahead and put my egg whites into the blender. Again, that's 12 egg whites. Excuse me. And I'm going to be having a cup of the unflavored egg white protein. I just got this in from Amazon. Also, I will be using a cup of powdered allulose. I will be using 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I like the Bragg's yeast. I will be using Himalayan pink salt, a half a teaspoon. I will be using a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. I will be using 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, and like I said, I will be using the allulose. So I'm going to go ahead and dump everything into my bowl, all of my dry ingredients together, and I want to make sure that they are mixed very, very well in the bowl together. So get your whisk or whatever you want to use and just make sure that you mix your dry ingredients together really, really good. Now there are a lot of different recipes that you're going to see for the protein sparing bread, so just pick out one that you like and go ahead and try it, because there are different ways that you can make it. There are different ingredients that you can add in, and today I'm doing the dump style, so there are, just mixing everything together and dumping it in at one time instead of adding the ingredients one at a time is what I'm doing. So again, like I said, I'm mixing everything together, all of my dry ingredients. I want to make sure everything is well incorporated. Okay, so you can see that's all mixed together, and I'm going to go ahead and dump that into my mixing bowl along with the egg whites, and I just dump everything in there at one time. You see the powder, and I'm just going to whisk the bowl a little bit to make sure that I get everything out. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to stir this a little bit just to get it blended just a little bit before I get started. You can see I'm making a mess, getting some of that egg protein powder and everything spilled out of the pan. But I'm going to mix this a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and let it start mixing with the blender. Now I do put on a shield because that powder is going to dust up a little bit, and so you can just plan on having just a little bit of a mess as you're doing this. At least I do. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Guess it would help if I put the mixer down into the mixture, but I'm gonna go ahead and put on my shield, and then I'm getting ready to start my blender. And I started on low. You can start it on the lowest or however you want to, just to get it mixing a little bit so that everything is not flying everywhere. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix this a bit, and then I'm just going to check it to make sure nothing is sticking to the sides, and just make sure that it's starting to blend together a little bit. And then I'm going to let it go ahead and blend and mix itself for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to have to blend or beat that long in order to start forming stiff peaks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reapply my shield and let this start mixing. And like I said, I'm going to let this blend for about 10 to 15 minutes. And while this is blending, I'm just going to be busy doing a lot of other things. Now, once you make your protein sparing bread, it's only 1 gram carb per slice and 33 calories. And that's because you're getting 12 slices. You want to get at least 12 to 14 slices out of your bread. Now I have gotten up to almost 16 slices. It was 15 and in the end, so almost 16 slices. So then my bread was less than 1 carb per slice. So it depends on how many slices you get per loaf as to what your grams of carbs, protein, fat, and everything will be. But it won't be much at all. It will be either usually 1 carb or less. Now, once you make this protein sparing bread, you open up yourself to a lot of different foods that you can eat. You can have protein sparing French toast. You can have sandwiches. You can have pizza. You can use this same recipe for pizza crust. You can use it for bagels, for buns, for cupcakes, for cake. It's a very great recipe, and I don't know if she invented this or whatever, but it's great. It's really, really great to be able to have these type of, it enables us to be able to have these type of treats and desserts at different times, and be able to have bread. When before with keto, there was no such thing as bread that I knew about. And I still do. I use lettuce leaves, and I used meats and different things for bread. So this has been I don't want to say a blessing, but this has been a great tool to help me to continue on my weight loss journey. So anyway, this is mixing, and I'm going to let it mix for about 10 or 15 more minutes. And then I'm going to check it to see how stiff my peaks have gotten. As you can see, it's already started forming the stiff peaks. It's looking good, looking good. Now, it was too noisy while I was making my protein Wonder Bread, so I had to do a voiceover, but I hope next time that I can actually record while I am making the bread. So I hope that you're able to understand this video. Anyhow, you can see that it's formed stiff peaks, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my blender now and just see how the egg whites are doing and the bread is coming along. And looking good. It's looking really, really good, and it smells good. Okay, you can see it's formed stiff peaks, and I turned it over. It didn't fall out the pan, so it's ready. I'm going to get my pan's ready. Going to get ready to spray those and everything. I'm going to use some what kind of, well, the wax paper, not wax paper, but the can't think of the name of it. Anyhow, I'm going to parchment paper. I'm going to put down some parchment paper, and then the egg mixture that I have left, I'm going to make some buns here on the pan, and make some hamburger buns or just buns to use for sandwiches and things like that, because I haven't made buns before and I've just been anxious to have some buns. And so I'm just going to fold my parchment paper where it can at least, stay on the pan and won't curl up so much. And then I'm going to make buns also. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my pan and get started with putting my egg mixture in my loaf pan first. Now, when you are putting the mixture in the pan, you want to make sure that you try to get out any air pockets that you have in your pan. You want to try to just put the mixture in there real good, and you can, just mash it into the pan if you have to, and that will help get out a lot of the air pockets that are in the mixture. You can see how I'm putting it in, and I'm just kind of mashing it down. Okay, so I'm going to fill up my pan, and I just try to overfill the pan. Put as much on there as you like, because the higher that you put your mixture, I think that helps your bread to be fluffier also, and to rise a little bit more. Now when I get ready to bake this, I'm going to bake it on 325, and I'm going to bake it for about 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to bake it at first for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then I'm going to check it. So you can see I've got my mixture in the loaf pan, and here are my buns, and I was able to get 3 good sized buns out of there. I'm going to go ahead and stick these in the oven, and like I said, I'm going to set them at 325 for 30 minutes. I can't wait until this is ready. Okay, so everything is cooking, and finished now. So here are my buns. As you can see, they came out really good, and they smell so good. The top of them are hard, it's a hard crust there, but the bun itself, it's flexible. So here's my bread. You can see how good it looks. It smells so good. I let it cool in the oven for about 15 minutes. Now I've taken it out. I'm going to let it sit over here and let it cool just a little bit more. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to slice it, and I'm going to put it in a plastic bag and keep it in the refrigerator. Now it's supposed to keep up to 4 days in your refrigerator, and then after that it says that you can freeze it for a few months. My bread never lasts that long, so I don't know. Within about 4 or 5 days I usually have to make another loaf anyway. But this is the bun, and you can see it's a hard bun, so when I get ready to use it, I will just slice it in half. And here is the bread. Wow, this loaf looks really good. I believe this is one of my most pretty loaves that I have made of the bread. Okay, here are my buns, and here is my bread. I'm going to go ahead and slice it up. Look how, it smells good. It tastes good too. You can use a flavored. Last time I made my bread, I used vanilla flavoring. And this is my taste test. It's good. What I am noticing this time is that my crust is a little bit tougher, is what I would say. So that's why I'm eating outside of the inside of the bread. The crust is good though. It's edible. So I've cut it up. This is my bread, and these are my buns. And I'm going to show you the sandwiches that I've made with them. Okay, see the bread? It smells good. But this is what I'm going to be using these buns for. And this meals that I'm showing you, they were made after I got my bread ready. So let me show you the hamburger. And this had all of the trimmings, and I had this on my protein sparing modified fasting day. And also this is the ham and cheese sandwich.